So, we'll start the meeting. Let's see, so we need minutes from our last meeting, which, April 3rd? Is that right? April 3rd meeting. So I need a motion.
I'll move to approve the minutes from the meeting I wasn't at.
I was gonna say, were you even here?
No.
Oh, that's right, you weren't even here.
Well,
That's
I
right,
can
you
still make a
missed.
motion to approve it.
Okay. Larry?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll
Okay,
second it.
all right, sounds good. Any discussion on those minutes?
It was a fine meeting.
Zach is not helpful. I don't think I read it, everything looked good to me. Anything with you, Larry?
No, it's all good.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that's good. Any adjustments to the meeting tonight? Okay, good, we can move right along.
Bare bones meeting.
Okay, so we had on there highway open paving bids. I haven't heard or seen anything, we didn't get anything from Harold on email. I didn't even look before I came, but usually he sends it to, so I guess we're gonna postpone
Table
that.
that till next meeting.
Yeah, because I haven't heard a word on that, so, and that being said, highway updates, I guess we don't have any of those either. So we'll move on. Treasurer, I don't have anything from Lisa, so town clerk. Let's see which one here, so right here, dogs, 233 have been licensed as of today. 80 known dogs still need to be licensed. Dan will reach out to them after May 1st, when the delinquent dog warrant is produced. Then, yeah, we gotta sign it, which will be the next meeting, right? Okay, then he will reach out to other owners that he knows has dogs but not licensed. Their first, license their dog for the first time, so I guess you'll work on that, which is good. BMU passed 182 to 163, 117 Groton voters voted. I passed along some information on the Planning Commission on a new program for village centers to help restore village vitality. Mike Namias is going to look into, I sent everyone a draft of the local emergency, did you guys see that local emergency plan?
Here, yep.
And we have a copy here, updates I was aware of. Please read through, add, subtract any information as needed. I will send to Bruce Melendi, their regional emergency management coordinator for Northeast Vermont Development Association, and I have a copy of this. So, and I have a paper copy for each of you, which is here. I also left copies of animal reports from Dan, which I've reviewed. Did you guys get a copy of those too?
Yep, they're here.
I have a copy if you need one. I read them. And Dan's here. And thank you, Carrie.
Thank you.
Let's see, so then, assistant assessor, so Dorothy, you're up.
So I talked with NVDA about the grant for the maps, and we're gonna send our first package after the end of the month. He didn't want to get it started now, so I'm gonna send, there's 70 maps that are gonna be mailed to Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And
Oh,
they're
for
gonna-
that grant?
For the grant,
Okay.
they're gonna fix them.
Okay.
They're gonna repair them. So I'm gonna send 15 at a time. I'm not confident mailing all 70 at once, so I'm
Okay.
gonna send 15 at a time, and then he's gonna get me, Jesse from NVDA is gonna get me information about billing. We'll send a bill to NVDA and they'll pay postage at the end or whatever.
Okay.
So that's in the works. The data quality study for the statistical reappraisal, maybe, I did an Excel spreadsheet that they wanted, so they've got it's like the fourth draft. So hopefully this is the final draft and they're gonna make a decision on it. If they're gonna let us do statistical.
Okay.
They've had more information than I thought they were gonna need, but they've got it all now. And I may be gone next week, I'm not sure, I'm hoping to be gone for a week, but plans are still up in the air, so.
Okay,
And I think that's all I've got.
okay, thank you, Dorothy. Fire and fast, I don't, do we, oh, we do,
I've
yeah.
got Wayne's report is there.
Yeah.
The W1, the intake throttle valve, it came in and we got the gasket, that's been replaced. We got the title for W1 last week.
What does that mean, like the actual title on
The
the
title
truck?
of the truck, we thought,
But don't we lease it?
hmm?
Don't we
No,
lease?
we've paid on it for 10 years, but we had been, from talking with Lisa, we thought it was 2025 when the final payment was gonna be. But they sent us the title, so it's our truck,
Okay,
okay?
okay, good.
The generator was serviced yesterday. Brookfield generator company
yeah.
came and did a lot, did a lot of work on it. We've got 3 people going to the fire school at Blue Mountain, that's May 4th and 5th. And Monday, on May 11th, they're doing the May Day State Recruitment Day for firefighters. It's being, you probably may have seen it on TV, and there's a lot of publicity about it. They did it last year. It's a statewide recruitment day for firefighters.
Okay,
And so we're gonna do an open house from 9 to 1, and there's a lot of publicity about it. WCAX, and we'll have it in the Bridge Weekly, and
okay,
it's a big recruitment for the whole state, so we're gonna be part of it this year.
okay, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so library, I don't think we have anything on Constable Dan.
Okay, once again, dog issues. We're having a problem, as you well know, with Connor Lucas's dog. now,
Again.
The other dog, not staying home. That's why I wasn't at the last meeting. I was trying to corral him. As soon as I can catch him, when he's out and about, he's going to the pound
Okay, good.
immediately.
And did you get a chance to order a new thing?
I'm going to.
Okay.
I'm going to order that.
And the town will take care of that, that's fine.
I get it. I can use it
Well,
anyways.
It's a good town use, so unless you wanna do something else with it.
Cal, had Cal out at Gary Morse's old place.
Okay,
Fortunately, Brent Smith came along and helped me get it back in. If you notice on the fence there, all the fencing is nailed from the outside, not the inside.
so they just
So
pull it
that when they
all off.
run up and rub against it, as they're
Falls
throwing the
right over.
room to get the hair off, pops the board off, and they walk through. And this one was directing traffic on 302 down here when I got the call, so I had to go down and help her get out of there. Other than that, that's it for that.
Okay, good. So zoning. Zanning, go. Dan.
Things are slow. They're gonna pick up. We've got a couple subdivision in the works that will be bringing their stuff to the planning commission as soon as the pond maps are done. I know that some of the perk tests have been done and some of the surveys have been done, so that will be coming. Zoning permits are down as they were last year at this time, so
Right.
I'm not sure if that's functioning the economy or what, but it'll even out somewhere around. That's it for that.
Okay, how about health officer Dan?
Nothing.
I thought you had a health thing, no?
Don't let him make something up.
No, I guess,
Animal control is the other thing that I have that I'm a little concerned about. As you're probably well aware, there were some animals confiscated.
well, the rabies thing.
No.
Oh, but that falls under the health officer thing, is what I was thinking.
Your report on the rabies.
The rabies thing on the rabies thing.
Oh, yeah, no.
That falls under, that's what I was
That
thinking.
falls under health.
Yeah.
That particular issue, I'm a little bit upset with the state.
But they can't, what is
Yeah,
it,
they
hush
can.
hush?
They can give you geographical idea, which is what I was looking for. Give me an area,
Why,
like West Groton.
yeah,
East Groton.
why is it that people can't know where you got a
It's
radius?
so secret that nobody can know. I said, well, why
Shouldn't
did you
people
send
know?
me, why did you send me this information if nobody's supposed to know about it? So anyways, I did get upset with the lady on the phone and told her that I thought it was ridiculous that we couldn't have a geographical area. I said it would give us a chance to locate that area as far as looking for animals, because if there's one there, there's about 100% chance there's more than one
Right,
rabbit
well,
in.
that's kind of
So,
the, and wouldn't you wanna know as a homeowner that you could have some
you would like to at least know the area, not the exact location.
Right.
I never asked for the exact location.
right,
I just asked for an area, and,
I saw the thing on that.
yeah, they were pretty, well, yeah, they sent you a copy of it.
And
Yeah.
I don't
We can't
understand
give
why
out
the
that.
secrecy, I mean,
Yeah, does that make any sense?
especially because it was a raccoon, right? I mean,
Right, it was a raccoon, and so I don't know if it was in a populated area, an isolated area.
or,
But does it matter? I mean,
Well, it does matter. If it's in a highly populated area, you'd like to know that because the chances of incidents are much higher.
right, and, yeah. It also leads towards to like making sure the dogs are vaccinated and licensed.
yeah, well, I
Because if it's in the village and somebody who doesn't have their dog registered or vaccinated, then we'll have a rabid dog issue on top of that. That's why it's kind of important.
Once it goes to a pet,
And then
the
it's-
chances of bites go way up.
welcome to state.
Right. Yeah, well, yeah.
So that was,
Okay.
I mean, even if it's like, it's town land versus state forest land, I mean, that helps
well,
somewhat.
this goes along, it's similar, but it's not under animal control. You're probably well aware there were some animals confiscated. Originally, we were told there were 8 animals confiscated. Turned out to be 4 animals confiscated, and 3 were back within 3 days.
Oh, that's up to Proctor's? Yeah. Right.
I cannot get anyone to explain to me why the state wasted that much money and time. I just can't.
So
I'm
it was
very
biased.
frustrated with some of our state agencies.
Right.
It seems
Well, to
like
be quite
everything's
honest with you, I
shrouded.
feel like after the pandemic, everything has kind of gotten into like a mess with stuff. We've kind of forgotten about like doing things,
Well, why
rules
don't-
and
I think-
why don't you
regulations.
roll in 3 vehicles deep, do a raid, and only take 4 of 12 animals, and then return 3 of those 3 days later? It makes
I don't even
absolutely
know.
no sense. I can't make head or tails of it. I have a call into Mike Scott, and he's supposed to be getting back to me.
All right, well, hopefully we'll get some answers.
That's it.
Okay, maintenance, anything on maintenance?
Well, there's still water.
That's gonna be solved here,
Yeah,
just as
solved.
soon as we get a contract.
That's right.
Larry's gonna give us an update on the contractor thing here in a little bit. IT, anything? Okay, planning commission isn't here, and I don't have,
We met.
oh,
today,
you-
And they're progressing along on the railroad track in that area.
oh,
Stumped them, they did the walkthrough.
which you met, Larry was there for the,
For the walkthrough.
how did that go, Larry?
Good, good.
We had a pretty good discussion after, and me playing the devil's advocate, they were talking about making beautiful trails there and walk-arounds and picnic areas and things, and I reminded them that that's a very good idea, but not to be surprised if we had visitors that are there for an extended stay, and there's no way to eliminate that.
Alright.
Well, they've already, they already had somebody camping out in.
Yes, and we can't.
There's been issues, not just there,
Right.
But doesn't
several
matter.
places, yeah.
That's
Several
another issue
places.
that we could get into that it gets even worse than you can
Well,
imagine.
my concern is liability.
Right,
Right,
That's my concern for the
Right.
town. If we have someone like that again, if we can get them to sign off on some sort of waiver, because obviously we found out that we could not remove them.
I still think that we ought to freshen up our town policy
Right,
that says
I
no
agree.
overnight. At least we have something that's saying our policy, I don't care what the
Right,
states to
right,
do and say,
It's
but
an
at
ordinance.
least we have an ordinance in our town
Right.
that
and it would
says,
have to
hey,
be an ordinance.
you can't stay here according to our town stuff, and then if they wanna go to the state and fight it, then good, you know what I mean?
That would be a
So
good
we should
idea.
probably put that on the agenda in the future to review our
It would have to be through an ordinance.
our town line, or our town property
Do we mean?
ordinance, I guess.
Do we have, I don't know if we have one, do we have one?
Not for
Well, we
that
must have
particular
town
issue.
property rules and stuff, right?
Sort of, but, I mean, it
We
may,
don't
maybe
have
the new,
anything that pertains to that.
new ordinance.
That's one of the problems we ran into last
I
year.
think we probably ought to then put something together. Larry, you wanna head that up?
No.
Anyways, we'll get into talking
it.
about
I
it.
mean, there was some questions on that. They're cleaning that area up a little
Yes,
at some point. There's
there
a
was-
car down there,
There
there's
was
stuff
quite a bit
that,
of talk about the fire department
yeah,
cleaning that area.
cleaning that
and
area up.
Getting their stuff out.
yeah.
There was also some questions about how much fill are you going to put on top of that stump dump before it settles into Never
Yeah.
Never Land?
Right, yeah, you're always gonna be putting gravel on it.
That's,
Right.
yeah,
Although
because
some of
that's,
Yeah,
Some of those stumps, they almost, it takes.
take a long
forever,
time, yeah.
a long time.
I mean, and
funny
there's,
is you
there's
get-
not gonna be a water traffic, you know. there'll be-
well,
but it will-
depends on the plans that they have, that they're talking about, putting a bridge across from the
Yeah.
back of Sarkeys and
Right.
things. And then making a walkabout from the dry sump all the way down
Which is
through.
another discussion that we probably are gonna need to address, is gating the railroad bed and having access for bikes and horses and all that stuff in the summer, and snowmobiles in the winter time. And there'll be keys to fire departments in town,
Can you
municipals.
gate that off? I don't
Well-
think you can.
Well,
Why
isn't
not?
it, what
Because
is
it's
it
a public
classified
access.
as? Is it,
No, it's a trail. It's
it's
classified
classified as a trail, right? It's not a class 4 road
But our ordinance that we put through
for the railroad bed.
allows vehicle travel from April 15th to
Okay.
December
On the whole,
15th.
on the whole railroad bed
Yes,
for the whole town,
yes.
right?
But what happens, who's policing it when they're using motor vehicles on those,
The
when
sheriff's
it's
department
not
would have to
that
be.
time? Cause that's what they do, and then they ruin the railroad bed, but nobody's policing the you know what I mean? So it's a continuing problem.
There may be an update to the railroad bed ordinance specifically.
You may have to do
Which is
that.
what would have, which would limit access, and we would have to remove vehicular access from the railroad bed altogether at that point.
So what if, okay, so just a quick questionnaire here. What
But
if we
here's the
had
question.
an
If you
incident with a-
remove vehicular travel, which is a registered motor vehicle, that would include snow machines.
but
A snow
real-
machine is a registered
No, not
motor
Right,
real,
vehicle.
right,
but
right,
real
right.
traffic versus,
Yeah, like,
Wheel traffic,
Like
just so you're
that.
gonna limit no bicycles, no
how's
motorcycles.
it written now, I guess? I don't know how it's written now, but it would be, however it's written now, we would have to,
okay, so let me throw this out here. What happens if we have a motor vehicle and pedestrian incident on
Right.
that trail?
Right.
Then
What they're
how
gonna
does that-
say is the preponderance of evidence is that that's not going to happen considering how many years the trail's been used by motor vehicle and hasn't had an issue,
Well, things are changing, I can tell you that.
that's for sure.
right.
We
So
had a-
anyway, I'm
No,
not
but-
saying that,
No, but I think to your point, it creates with that increase in bicycle and pedestrian traffic, and the fact that that we allow, especially during the summer months, cars and cars basically to roll up and down the railroad bed, that could lead to an incident.
And
the
I've got-
question is what are the
90% of your
mitigation
traffic
risks?
on that railroad bed is in May and in November.
But
turkey
not
season
really.
and
Now
deer
we're
season.
having problems with other people using it, cause there's been complaints
There's,
of drug house people
that's
traveling.
everywhere in this town. That's not just the railroad
Yeah,
bed.
well, nobody's using it for good reasons, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's not a positive. If you're deer hunting, okay, but why are you driving around on the railroad bed deer hunting? Why
To
aren't
get
you
to,
parking?
to get
I
to
think-
Pine Mountain.
And I think that there's a little bit more of
But
a
you could
discussion
get to
too.
Pine Mountain by a road,
Not when it's gated off.
the other end.
It's gated off.
That's the state, not the town.
Right, but it's gated off, so you don't have access to it. That's what I'm saying. You gotta think about all these
Well,
things.
not just that, but I think, Dorothy, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the railroad bed a secondary,
Emergency, which we
mode
have
of-
keys and we open
Right.
gates if that
Right,
was
right.
a thing.
right? I mean, I think what it comes down to is the ordinance needs to be reviewed. If there's going to be,
If you're gonna make
if
changes,
we're gonna make, we.
No, and I know,
Yeah.
but look, does the state allow it? No, the gates are closed except for these particular hunting
deer
season.
season,
We can do that too.
Well,
I'm
but
just
when
saying
you look
that
at the
it's
other-
something to think about.
Well, but, I mean, you have to think about it too, the railroad bed, when it comes down across 302 and heads out towards state forest, it gets gated off there, right at the Ricker Pond access, it's gated in the summertime
Right.
all the way through to Marshfield. But again, that's all state owned.
right, that's state owned and state
And
regulated.
They regulate the railroad bed at that point.
Right.
So the question would be, what is their, what,
Right, match
what
what
are
they're
they,
doing.
yeah, exactly, what are they doing?
Right.
Let's match that, because that's used in the winter, even then, it's used for snowmobiling in the winter, so, I mean, I think that's what it, but,
Because the traffic's gonna definitely pick up, pedestrian and horses and bikes.
I think,
If you're promoting,
I'm
It's
not
good.
sure it's gonna pick up as much as everyone thinks it's going
well,
to.
time will tell, but,
Yeah,
it's gonna be promoted more, they want people from the campgrounds to come down into the village.
They also want people, there was discussion about people using our rail trail per se and not feeling safe back there with cars and people because there's nobody back there, meaning security reasons, like if you run into somebody in a car and there was an incident back there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Type of situation. So
that
there's,
happens
I'm just
everywhere
saying,
in
Dan, there's
town.
been some discussion on it, and I'm not saying that we're gonna put gates everywhere. We don't even have a
Well,
budget to
yeah.
do that, but I'm just
Well,
saying,
we
I
did
think
this-
it's something to keep in mind that.
well,
we-
but again, I mean, it's all part of the discussion, I think, that comes back to the VORIC grant stuff. And,
Yes.
because there is funding through that grant that, we have, the money's earmarked for us, right? We have access to all of that. But as we know from previous meetings about the discussion on that, there's still, I think, flexibility in the use of funding. And again, that, part of it comes back to, if we're gonna start looking at, how we wanna manage the use of the rail trail, it starts with us reviewing the ordinance. As part of that, then coming up with a plan on if we decide to gate it off, then,
Well, you'd
we
have
look
to
for
have
the
a
funding.
gate at Witcher Mountain, and you'd have to have a gate at the stump dump.
right. But again, look, I mean, that's all part of
Because
that
the rest
thought
of
process.
that is road,
so,
class 4 or class 3 road.
Right,
Witcher Mountain, where would you be gated?
Right across from Clough's Barn,
Oh, yes.
and that's
So-
gated except for hunting season
right.
and snowmobile season.
So again, you just have to, I think that's where you start with it, is
Right.
reviewing that ordinance. And then, like you were saying about the no overnight camping, needs to be its own ordinance, really. I mean,
Yeah,
basically saying that there's no overnight camping authorized at any town properties in the town of Groton.
Right. Which would at least cover us that we have something.
it would
Even if it doesn't
cover
hold water,
you
at
for
least
some of the
something.
liability.
Right,
That's the big concern at this point. One of the gentlemen that stayed there last summer seemed to be fine. I had a lot of contact with him. The other two, not so much.
Right. So, okay, things to talk about. Ongoing grants and updates. NEK and CUD and Boric, I'm not sure.
CUD, they still haven't put the battery backup in.
Okay,
They are setting poles, but they're not stringing wire yet.
okay.
Um,
Our
They're setting poles, I didn't realize.
Yeah, they set poles, cut the wires right off to the
Watch them
building.
do it. Infrastructure and drainage project, I'll let Larry and I met with Nate and 3 bidders, I'll let you
Yeah,
fill.
yeah, what 3 contractors showed up, 2 of them had lots of questions. Of course, we was hoping for more to show up, but, so it was positive. Nate thinks there'll be other people bidding on it that didn't show up, but.
Okay.
And the way, Fred Kidder talked, rates were down and lots of bidders
Yeah.
and numbers were low. So,
That's a good thing
I
for us.
know,
Yeah.
we're hopeful for that.
That's good. No, and winter bid's gonna be we're gonna review them at the
End of
next
the
meeting,
month.
right?
30th.
Right, and then we're gonna review them on the first.
But he, actually, the way Nate sounded, he reviews them, we give them to him, and then he gives us the suggestion, I guess, and it has to be
His
through,
recommendation.
he has to make sure that it's good through the state stuff, you know.
Right, through
all the-
Sean at
Yeah, so,
FDA.
Well,
So-
and USDA.
Or
There's a
USDA.
lot more to it.
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
through them.
Yeah, so
Right.
it's through USDA, that's right,
Yeah.
USDA. So Sean at USDA probably has to work with Nate to make reviews, because if any of those bids don't meet the USDA specification, that's pretty much an automatic,
Boom.
you know, not gonna move forward
Right.
with your application or your bid.
so,
Well, that's great though, it's good to see that we're actually getting people interested in
Yeah.
that
yeah, there was,
project.
those couple of local contractors seemed really interested and had a lot of questions and really wanted to know what's what, so it was kinda nice to see that and really go over stuff about the project, so seemed
Good.
positive and good, and hopefully the bids will come in at a good price, and we'll move along, get this thing going, but,
Yep.
there was some discussion about, you know, like police, carry and cars and the fire department, and we
yeah.
said that we would work around as long as we have notice, and we can, you know, stage trucks and do whatever we have to do to make this all.
Yep.
We just need notice, and so it seemed good. Community center, EV charging.
I haven't heard anything on EV charging.
Well,
He
last
was here
meeting.
last meeting.
Yeah, he was here last meeting, and I don't even remember what exactly he did, but he's still waiting, I think, for information.
Okay.
I can review the minutes.
I got you. Seems right here, I think.
Energy grant, tree service grant, Steve's working on the trees
Yep.
and stuff with that grant. NVDA, emergency service building. That, we haven't heard anything more on. The knotweed grant, I think we're still waiting on that stuff. I know Dan's been waiting patiently on that stuff, so we can get that dealt with.
Well, I'll say the test spot that they did at the Pancake House, nothing's come back up this year, so, I mean, whatever they're doing's effective, I think, but.
Right. That's good. Okay, open to public and other business?
On May 14th, the Planning Commission is going to have a walkthrough at the new cemetery, and they're gonna talk about
Access?
making, well, not access so much as making an area for people to go and picnic and sit and
Okay,
meet.
okay,
So there's gonna be a walkthrough there, similar to what they did at the stump dump.
okay.
That's a Tuesday, right?
Yes, and they're gonna meet at 5:30 there.
Okay. Good. Anything else for open and public and other business? You weren't here, Zach, but, I did talk to Nate Covey. Is it Covey? Covey? Nate.
Sure.
Nate. I think it's Covey, with the state for the permit for the signs,
Yep,
is that the right?
Nate, that guy, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That sounds
Covey.
right.
It's Covey.
I got what you're saying. We don't need to talk anymore, me and him. So, actually, Nate, Ruggles,
He give you the,
oh yeah. So
well, you need
Nate,
this to get that, but then you need this to get that, but.
Nate Ruggles is actually gonna work with, and
Okay.
get hopefully what we need, in order to do that. We have the new motherboard thing to fix the sign, I just gotta go up and take it down and plug it in and fix it, and then that
Yeah.
sign's fixed. And then, or we may just put the signs up and we'll see what happens. But anyways, so we're working on that. How's that?
Now you know why it hadn't got done yet.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I know. Well, something's gonna happen, Zach,
Biggest-
okay? Just mark my
yeah.
words, something's gonna
Biggest
happen, okay?
bureaucratic catch-22 right there, that, that guy talks in circles.
Oh, he pretty much said they're not worth it and this and that and whatever. And I'm like, I didn't really ask you what, what you thought or whatever. And
This
he's
is
like,
just-
well, if your signs are if they don't meet the whatever, then you can't use them. And I'm like, well, can we find that out first? Oh, no, you gotta go through A, B, C, D. And I'm like, what, can't you just, we figure out if the signs are gonna, if they're not gonna work, we're not gonna buy new ones. And he's like, wow, no, you can't
They're not
really do
cheap.
that. And I'm like,
Well,
okay,
those
I'm done
signs
with
are
this conversation.
$7,000.
What's that?
Those signs are $7,000.
Yeah, I know. They're
We're
not
not
cheap.
buying new ones to
No.
do this.
No.
So,
Well, anyway,
anyways, set agenda for May 1st meeting,
well, we said,
which we need to, bids, I guess. We're gonna be looking at bids for the drainage
bids for
project.
drainage.
Sign off on the dog warrant.
So, yeah, sign off on dog warrant, and we're gonna need the paving. I guess we'll check in with Harold on paving stuff. We're going to add discussion on policies. Let's see, we need to look at our policy, our town policy for overnight camping, or
Yep, so.
put that on there.
Do we?
What do you wanna put it under?
Well, I think we just put it as a new ordinance for overnight camping, and
Okay,
we'll just put that as an agenda item, I suppose, right?
Yeah. Anything else we need to?
I mean, I get, we obviously, we talked about the railroad bed ordinance. Do we wanna hold off and maybe see if we can get some of the planning commission folks at the next meeting maybe, and,
Yeah,
or do we wanna wait on that?
I
This
would
next-
probably put something together first
Okay,
and then have the planning commission come.
gotcha.
I'm sure that they'll be receptive to it.
So do you want me to add that too?
so I don't know if we could put, railroad
Railroad bed
ordinance
ordinance review.
discussion.
Yeah, there you go. One of those two words.
Now, what about the properties that access off the railroad bed? Would they have keys?
Well, I guess the question
Another,
is,
yeah, another thing to think about.
are there other I mean, is there anybody that is directly accessing their property from the railroad
That
bed?
is the only access to, say, the cemetery plot, the new cemetery,
Right.
to the David Boyce property,
Right,
to the next guy up, Panett.
right, that's
um,
right, yeah.
So, I mean,
Might be something to think about.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah,
I know, I don't know, it seems like we've got kind of a catch-22 here.
well,
Yeah.
there are sections that you could gate off,
Right.
but you have to look at the whole picture. And then if you don't gate off.
But we also can't forget, it's supposed to be a trail, it's not a class. I
Well, but I
know,
think
but
if
that's,
part of
isn't
it-
that what we
Yeah, we have to look.
classified it as a trail?
The other thing that you have to be aware of is that under Vermont law, if you've used a certain piece of property as a right-of-way for 3 consecutive years, it's considered implied consent.
Yeah.
So you've gotta be kinda mindful of those things.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, again, if we threw it up as a road and it's just a trail, that just, and we're allowing, you know, vehicles,
Let's-
as in, you know, cars, trucks, et
Well,
cetera.
the other problem you run into is, as I said, there's some people that have to have access.
Right.
That's their only access in
Right,
and out.
right.
And if you allow access for some, as you well know,
You have
I
to-
can only think of one of those properties there at Panett, isn't it? The only.
no, David Boyce's property that he had on the railroad bed, right above the
doesn't
new
own it.
I
cemetery.
thought he sold it.
He did sell it,
and
but
they
that-
took
That's the
road.
only
That
property.
is the only access.
Oh, I thought there was,
No, because the other right of way, the state refused
I
because it's
thought
in the
they're building a
floodplain.
new road to go over so they can
They
get to
can't.
that.
oh,
They
They
really?
can't.
started to.
They can't because there's a brook that comes down through. And Act 250 came in and said no, and then the state came in where the original right of way was and said no, because it's in a floodplain.
Okay. Well, I think, Dan, we should not talk about this tonight. We should do some more research. I'm not,
Right.
I'm just saying.
Right.
Yeah,
It might be worthwhile to bring copies of that ordinance and review
yeah,
that
we'll do
ordinance
it. It's
overall.
just,
So the
Once
other one
you
that's been an issue in the past is the house that's behind the block,
yes,
because
Right.
they use it.
But we wouldn't have a gate there. We would probably have a gate. I mean, and my thought would
you
be
couldn't have
at
a,
the, at their property would gate.
You wouldn't have it there because
You gotta
you've
have
gotta
it
have-
down where the cemetery.
yeah, you've gotta have access to the
It
cemetery,
would be down
and
by
then
the
you've gotta have
cemetery.
access to the next property, which was David Boyce's, because that's their only
But
access.
is that ordinance, is the ordinance only specifically from Powder Spring Road to, what is it? that-
No, it goes
It's the
from,
whole,
yeah,
from
it's
the
the
state
whole
line, or from,
rail trail system, I guess, is
Right.
what you would call it.
right, okay. I mean,
Um,
maybe that's the
Okay.
piece that we look at, is limiting it to, limiting the scope of of that ordinance to Powder Spring to, what is that road?
Well, then you'd have to go
That
from,
it turns, because it's,
well, you've got, you probably have to start down below where Midge Reed owned,
yeah.
because they have to cross that.
So we're gonna resurface that and half, some of it's a
There'd be a lot
driveway
of
and everything.
gates,
It'd
And
be a
some
lot of
it's-
a lot
gates.
of gates.
Some of it's a driveway and everything, so we're gonna
Yeah.
resurface it all and some of it's a driveway to
Yes.
people's houses.
Yes,
It works out great for them.
I want mine resurfaced, please.
You know what I mean? Cause that first house, you're gonna fix all that, which is a mess. And then it's all gonna get plowed up, so then, does that get plowed? How does it get access in the winter?
They plow it themselves. They come across the railroad bed and
Like,
go down by Tinkhams.
oh. Oh,
Yeah,
Alright.
they just cross, do they go up it at all, or just kind of cross
It
at
went-
an angle?
They try not to
Yeah.
from December 15th to April 15th because of the snow machiners and
Right.
things,
Yeah,
but
okay,
yeah, yeah.
we're not talking
The
about this
next meeting is,
May first.
May 1st, right?
Yeah, May first.
Yep.
So, we're gonna sign orders, which we don't have any orders to sign, cause I didn't bring the folder down, but I can go get the
I'll stop
folder.
up and sign folders. and sign, yeah.
I need a motion to adjourn then if we're done,
I'll move to adjourn.
okay?
I second it.
Alright, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
All right.